Welcome to Full Sail Live. I'm George Gilmore. On today's show, we'll dive into the biggest shock of a trade in the AFC. Tyreek Hill on the move to Miami with Waddle and Tua, and on the impact this will have on the rest of the AFC moving forward. Tyreek is one of the most explosive players in the NFL. He is a different breed of athlete and has shown that during his time in KC. During the time he has scored after being drafted in 2016, 56 touchdowns in that span. He has world-class speed, which makes him more dangerous in the open field. What he will bring to the Fins alongside Waddle is the fastest duo in the NFL. For the Fins and Tua, it's time to see how Coach McDaniels will use the pair. On the show next, we got Rome. He's our NFL analyst. He's going to be sitting here talking about the biggest blockbuster trade right now. So, Rome, what do you think Tyreek Hill's impact or any impact will have on the Fins this year?
I think it definitely brings a different dynamic to the Fins offense, bringing Tyreek Hill in. Him and Jalen Waddle, two of the fastest players in the NFL. I think that's going to be interesting, but they also have Tua at quarterback. So I think this year is going to really be a make it or break it year for Tua if he can't do it with all those weapons around him. They signed Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert too. So they should have one of the fastest teams in the NFL. I think if Tua can get the ball in the right places, the Fins should at least be in the playoffs.
And that's something for me that's like a big deal. I mean, being a homer of this team, and
of course
they've done this type of stuff before. They did the whole blockbuster signing. I remember the Mike Wallace signing was a big deal, deep threat. He turned out to be complete garbage. This one is a little bit different now. McDaniels is a little quirky. I like him so far. His interviews are interesting, but now, like you said, two fastest players in the league right now, which I've never seen on one team. So he's going to have so many weapons right now, how he can use them, maybe like how Deebo was played out in San Francisco.
Sure.
So it's a little exciting, but like you said, 100% agree. This is make or break for Tua, in my opinion. They've given you the keys to the Corvette. It's time to roll. You got to make it happen, or him being drafted 5th overall is going to be a very, very just bad mark on this team because they gave up a lot of picks to do that.
Sure. But I mean, with Mike McDaniel, being a 49ers fan, he's coming from that Kyle Shanahan scheme. And I think that their running offense is really going to open up the pass. And, he had a quarterback similar to Tua, in my opinion, and Jimmy Garoppolo. And he made it work with Jimmy. So I think with Tua, sky's the limit.
Yeah, they did sign Teron Armstead the other day, so they definitely got him protection now. But at the end of the day, for me, like anything else last year, if they can't run the ball, it means absolutely nothing. They need to be able to establish the run, make it go from there, or if not, they're going to drive everyone and myself crazy down here because now we got an offense that might be able to put up points. We had a defense last year. You got to take advantage of that window right now, and I think the Dolphins are going all in.
I think so too with Tyreek Hill. That's the main topic. I think Tyreek Hill puts this offense over the top and takes away a lot of the threats, for Tua.
Yeah, so let's see, man. Hopefully this does work out. Everyone from San Francisco is raving about McDaniel's system. I want to rave myself. So we'll see what happens when we get back. Rome, thank you as always. Back to you guys. Up next, what's really going on with Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns? Where will he play next? Or did he officially demote himself to a backup role? That's up next. Full Sail Live. Mayfield is now or can be labeled a bust after the issue with the Browns. During his career, he has 14,125 yards, 92 touchdowns, and 56 interceptions with the Browns, and one playoff victory against the rival Steelers. During his time, they built a team ready to contend, even adding OBJ to the mix. But for whatever reason, Baker just couldn't make it work. When they needed him to play big, he came up small.
All right, we've got George coming into the studio. He's our NFL analyst to discuss Baker Mayfield after the Browns just signed, Deshaun Watson to a mega deal. How do you think Cleveland will remember Baker?
His progressive commercials, man. I mean, that's pretty much what I can take from the whole situation. It's fair to say I think he has more commercials than victories right now. Baker Mayfield came in highly recruited. highly sought out as the number one pick, very a lot of moxie in college, but that wore out really fast in the pros. He's had the team. He has an excellent running game, offensive line, receivers. You had OBJ, and he still couldn't get the job done, which, unfortunately that happens. As much as he complained back and forth with the Browns, it's obvious the Browns wanted to move on. They just didn't see anything, no reason to keep him or even sign him to a large extension, which is what I'm sure he's been looking for.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if, any team in the NFL is willing to sign Baker at this point to be a starter for their franchise. I think maybe Seattle's a possibility, but even them, I don't know if, they even want Baker on their team. It's, he's had a tough couple of years with injuries as well, tearing his labrum and playing through that and stuff like that. But I mean, if you're not ready to play, I think it shows, if you're out there playing poorly, NFL teams aren't going to pay you.
No, and then you have the whole rumor now with Pittsburgh wanting to possibly sign Baker if he gets cut. No one's willing to trade a first round pick for Baker at this point. That tells you a lot. Even I think his base salary is 19 million, which the going rate is about 20 plus right now. So it tells you a lot that teams are not willing to trade a first round pick or even pick up his salary. So
it's unfortunate to see, especially after his promising start. I think people were heavy on Browns being Super Bowl favorites headed into that 2021 season after making the playoffs, and Baker actually looking pretty good with the offense out there, despite OBJ not thriving. But I think really the downfall for Baker began when OBJ went to the Rams and really flourished with Matthew Stafford and clearly showed that he had the ability to be the top tier talent that he is. So I think it's going to be tough for Baker to find a job. I think maybe he even takes up a backup role because he might have to.
When we come back on Full Sail Live, what's next for Deshaun Watson after being traded and receiving the largest contract of guaranteed money in NFL history? More to come. Full Sail Live. Stay tuned.